This is a video on how to fix the F14 error code on a Frigidaire range. This is for a gas range, but the same thing might apply for electric ranges. The F14 error code comes up due to problems with the touch panel or the electronic oven control board. Apparently, it's a very common error. I couldn't find very much information on the internet about fixing the problem, so I have made this video to help others. Disconnect the range by pulling the plug out. Remove the upper steel panel on the back of the range. This one has 6 screws. As you can see, I have previously removed the screws and also disconnected this ribbon cable, which is for the electric range and probably is not used here in this gas range. This is the ribbon cable for the oven, and I believe this is the one that's responsible for this F14 error code right now. This range has an information sheet in this plastic bag on the back of the range. This shows you a schematic. It's the service data sheet. Yours may not have this, but maybe you can download it off the internet somewhere. Here's the troubleshooting for the various error codes. You can see we have an F14 error code with the explanation. And what you can do about it, how to test it. The first thing you can do is to check or reseat the ribbon harness connection between keyboard touch panel and the EOC, which is the electronic oven control. So you could remove that ribbon cable connection and just replace it and see if your problem goes away. If not, then you need to test the keyboard circuits using the test matrix below, as it says. And here you can see the ribbon cable connectors. The big one on the left is the one we are checking out. It's called P31. The one on the right is the P1, which is the one for, I think, the electric range. So we are going to concentrate on the P31 here. And you can see the pin numbers are mentioned there, and the pin numbers start from the bottom of the connector. And here you can see, to test, you need to check for continuity between the pins. So for example, for the bake, you would test from pin 2 to pin 10 and so on. The chart here shows you which. You need a multimeter set to the ohm scale. In my case, it's 400 ohms. Do a continuity test on your probes. I'm using these little DuPont wires and alligator clips to make it easy to test the ribbon cable. I'm going to test the start button, and that goes on P31 pin 3 and P31 pin 10. So you count from the bottom, 1, 2, 3. And the next one is pin 10. So here is the start button. If I press it, I get a reading on my multimeter, and that's what you want to see. If you let the button go, you get OL, which is infinity or out of limits, and that's how you test the pins for the touch panel. In this case, I had a problem with this connect. So that means pin 31, P31 pin 13 and P31 pin 11 should be connected always, and it wasn't showing as connected. So I figured I need to make that connection, and so I removed the electronic oven control board and I placed a jumper between those pins. I just soldered a small wire there, as you can see. A new electronic oven control board or a touch panel are very expensive. So this is the route I chose to go. So in order to disconnect and remove your touch panel and electronic oven control board, you need to remove this ribbon cable and the other big one, the P31 at the other end. And also you need to disconnect all these connectors. I would suggest you take a picture before you start. Some of these connectors have got locking tabs that you need to press, and then there are screws. There are 9 screws on this board that need to be taken out before the electronic oven control board can be removed. So disconnect all the connectors and remove the 9 screws. And you can remove your electronic oven control board. In order to remove the touch panel, you have to remove the steel front cover over the touch panel, and to do that you have to remove these 6 screws that I have marked using masking tape. I'm just marking the location of the screws so I don't forget where they go. In order to remove that steel cover, you need to access 2 screws from below. They are Phillips screws. Remove those 2 screws. In order to remove this steel cover, you need to lift up a bit and pull it out. So hold it by both ends, lift it up slightly and pull it out. Now there are 4 screws holding the touch panel from the front, which you need to remove. And that gets your touch panel off. Here I'm just testing the oven to see everything works good when I plug it in before I put everything back. And as you can see, when I plug the oven in, I no longer get an F14 error. That is good. Looks like the bake function is working fine. Time to put everything back together. I hope this video helps you. Good luck with your repair.